say that we live in strange times is probably an understatement. But part of what makes these times so strange is that we've seen a lot of change in such a short period of time. This rapid change isn't just limited to our social lives or the lack thereof. It also applies to the ecological world and to our natural areas. And the example that everyone thinks of when they think of change in the environment is probably global climate change, which is important, but it's not just that. There's also a drastic increase in the amount of exotic, non native invasive pests. And a specific example of this is when we get ornamentals shipped from all over the world because of our ever increasingly globalized economy. And those ornamentals come in and maybe they weren't treated right, maybe they didn't undergo the proper quarantine procedure. Sounds a little familiar. We end up with pests such as the hemlock woolly adelgid, which has devastated native hemlock populations throughout the eastern United States. So my thesis is concerned with these types of changes. My study is an observational, long-term study of an old-growth forest in eastern Kentucky slash southern Appalachia. It's the our survey was the 49th year, but we like to round up to 50. But I referenced all the death of the eastern hemlocks. Not all this death is bad necessarily. So, for example, is when there's an ice storm or a fire, we might naturally see death and forest composition change. So, if a fire destroys a maple stand and we end up with more oaks and tulip poppers coming up, this process of change is called succession and it's natural. So, what makes our study so valuable is that it's long term, 50 years. And so we can see baseline ecological trends as natural as they come, because being an old growth forest, it witnesses the least amount of disturbance. So, an ongoing trend in a lot of eastern forests is the decline of oaks. And through all the hundreds of understory species that we surveyed, for example, less than 15 of them were oaks. That doesn't bode well for the future of oak dominance in eastern forests. So that is the type of information that my thesis reveals. Thank you.